Today's topic is real quick, kind of off the cuff, called Utopia. I got to definitely say that this is a derivative of a video that Sargon of Akkad put out today. And I want to put my spin on Utopia. So, let me see if I can find this. Alright, and I'm using Wikipedia as a reference for this. I don't recommend Wikipedia for anything that you need to have official. It's a good source of baseline information, generally speaking. It'll lead you down the right bunny trails. But from the academic point of view, you do not use Wikipedia as a reference source because, of course, anybody can change it. Anyways, Utopia is defined as an imagined community or society that possesses highly desirable or nearly perfect qualities for citizens. The term was coined by Sir Thomas More in his 1516 book Utopia, describing a fictional island society in the South Atlantic Ocean off the coast of South America. The opposite of utopia is a dystopia, which dominates the fictional literature. Utopia focuses on equality in such categories as economics, government, and justice, a non-exhaustive list, with a method and structure of proposed implementation varying based on ideology. A Lyman Tower sergeant, I guess that's a guy or a person, he was an academic professor, argues that utopia's nature is inherently contradictory because societies are not homogeneous and have desires which conflict and therefore cannot simultaneously be satisfied. According to Sargent, there are socialist, capitalist, monarchical, democratic, anarchist, ecological, feminist, patriarchal, egalitarian, hierarchical, can't ever say that word, racist, left-wing, right-wing, reformist, free-loving, nuclear family, extended family, gay, lesbian, and many more utopias. Utopianism, some argue, is essential for the movement of the human condition, but if used wrongly, it becomes dangerous. Utopia has an inherent contradictory nature here. I believe that. So, in light of 2020 and the past probably 4 or 5 years, where we get to rename our definitions, we get to create our new definitions, I want to tell you what utopia is for me. Now, in here, we're talking about an imagined community or society that possesses highly desirable or nearly perfect qualities. And this is for citizens. Now, if I was the only citizen of my own utopia, what would I want? Well, I'd probably first and foremost want a good solid 6 extra hours a day, right? Because I'm so busy, I wish I could get a little bit more done during the day. I just don't have enough time to be in 2 places at once. But a lot of folks think utopia is someplace where, or I get the impression that people want this utopia to be a place where people sit around, lounge around, and are just kind of, let their bodies turn into butter, let their minds turn into mush, and they call that enjoying life. For me, what's enjoying life, though? I enjoy working on things. Now, so you're going to see on these videos here, when I'm talking about my topics, I'm also going to be talking about it when I'm working on something or during a break while I'm working on something. You're going to see the process of while I'm doing something, or what I'm doing, or when I'm doing something. And sometimes I'll even have like Jeep Day, right? This is my utopia. My shop is my utopia. I'll be able to work wood out there. I'll be able to work on my vehicles. I'm building out a little metal corner. All I have to do is get some power running there, and then I'll have my 220 welder up and running. I'm building a forge in the back around the other side of the shop. I like to just build things. Doesn't mean that's my utopia. Sometimes I get frustrated with the fact that I have to fix everything because it becomes a job. But then I also have to realize that, I don't mind fixing things. Sometimes it's me that gets in my way of my own utopia, right? Me is like, well, I prefer to just be lazy right now. I have been so busy that I would just like to sit on the couch and stare at the ceiling for a bit or watch YouTube videos. But is that really part of my utopia, is sitting around doing nothing? Not really, because I get bored relatively easy, so I can only do that for so long, and then I got to get up and walk around and do something else. I'm the guy that will do work to get away from work, I'm like, well, I don't want to do this right now, so I'm going to go and do this other thing right now and get that taken care of, and then come back and see if I want to take care of the original thing. And if not, then I'll take care of something else. And at the end of the day, I still get a lot of things taken care of. That's my utopia, right? Hard work, challenging work, things that make me push myself. This is my utopia. And I implore you to think about your utopia like that as well. I want you to think, do you really want to be in your personal utopia where you're just laying in bed with people feeding your face full of chocolate and, and you don't press yourself as hard as you can be? Because, I think that if that's your utopia of that sloth and laziness and people serving you is going to actually, your utopia is going to lead you into mental decline, and your utopia is leading you to be a very weak person. So that's the dichotomy of things. When I understand what other people are talking about, this utopia, this little perfect thing that just happens, it sprouts out of, they take these little communes, these little, I don't know if you want to call them anarchists, or maybe they can be, identify as communists or socialists or whatever, but they'll build communes, and people on these farms work together very well and so forth, and they support each other, and they all share the workload, but that doesn't really expand out. Those people have to come together, and I'm guaranteed that there's going to be people that are going to be voted off the island. And they're like, well, this guy doesn't really participate, so out of here, right? And, because we're trying to create our utopia. Just like this definition in Wikipedia said from Professor Sargent here, says that they just conflict with each other, and they do. They do. So you have to define your own. But define something that is going to lead to self-esteem, right? Self-esteem, I just had a little burp there. Self-esteem is, as far as I'm concerned, comes from what you feel like you've accomplished. What have you accomplished? What can you look at and point at and say, I did that, right? Is that, it could be simple as just taking care of your own house, right? You got up in the morning, you showered, you took care of yourself. At least you have something to be proud of, right? Something to be proud of. If you sit around waiting for somebody to do it for you, like, Mom, I need somebody to make me ramen, somebody to pour hot water on, plastic noodles for me. Where do you think that's going to lead with your self-esteem? And it's probably not going to lead anywhere useful. You're going to have rock bottom self-esteem. For you girls out there, you try to make up that self-esteem by sleeping around because you just want attention, right? And guys, you become simpy guys. Orbiting a whole bunch of girls, hoping that they give you some attention, right? You end up being used and abused because people identify your lack of self-esteem, and they capitalize on it. They exploit it. You become their little slave, and their little puppet, because you're going to do anything you can to impress them because you hope in some way that that's going to lead to self-esteem. It's not, right? It's a one-trick pony. That's what I used to get on my daughter about. She used to think that, wearing thongs to school would bring about self-esteem because all the boys wanted to look at her butt, But if your only topic of conversation, the only thing that you can say you're proud of is your butt, your conversations are going to be over very shortly because you don't have anything else to offer. You don't have any knowledge, skills, or abilities, things you're researching or trying to figure out or just exploring the world, right? You are a boring person. And I'm not saying you need to go out and be, the Dos Equis guy, the most interesting man in the world. But you should try to explore things. This is, I think, what the utopia is. And then when you start building your utopia, you start finding others that think like you. And so if you're somebody that's very self-centered, you're going to find a lot of people that are very self-centered. If you are on the opposite spectrum and you like to figure things out and you like to find people that figure things out, and then you figure things out together and you promote each other's smartness and your exploration and so forth, and then that's going to translate further on down the line, and you're going to be surrounded by friends that think the same way. And all these friends are going to do for you is when you're in those group A groups, I call them, is that they're always going to look out for you. You'll always look out for them, and going through life. And as a team, you'll all be successful because you'll be sharing knowledge, sharing information, everything else with each other, and hoping that the whole group comes up. Now, what have you built? You built a utopia, but first it starts with just getting your knuckles busted, getting your hands dirty. Get in there and work on your own vehicle, or fix something in the house. Build a dog house in the backyard. Build a little bird house. Find out how to build little S-curves in metal. Right? All you need is a blowtorch and a hammer and a flat piece of steel somewhere, and ding, ding, ding. You can make anything, right? It all starts from somewhere. Build this utopia, because utopia doesn't happen. Now, of course, it seems like since it's highly imagined, it's a highly imagined community or society. I guess some people think it does just appear for them. I'm going to tell you that it's imagined. It's in your imagination. It's wishing. It's hoping. It's dreaming. And wishing, hoping, and dreaming, while it's good for your imagination, doesn't get you anywhere. Now, if you hope that you can do something in life, or you hope that something happens in your life, I hope the next thing you do, my hope, is that you hope that something happens in your life, and then you take action to make that one thing work. You take action to walk down the path to make what you hope happens, right? You're the one that influences your own life. You create your own utopia. Short and sweet. I'm working today, of course, so since I work from home, I brush my hair, but I need a haircut. I wear the same shirt or t-shirts and whatnot, and I'm just a bum. This is not my utopia, working in an office job. So after this, I get to go out and work on, I think tonight will be replacing the gas lines and a weed eater, because they dry rotted over since I used it last, which was probably about 9 months ago. Have a great day, boys and girls.